So what does change, metamorphosis, and growth have to do with real estate, a real estate brokerage, and an amazing real estate agent? We're here with Misti Bruton. Misti, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here. Nice to see you, Jesse.
Good to see you too. This is, by the way, guys, if you're watching, I am so excited because occasionally you get to interview someone who's actually like a friend in real life that you know really well. And Misti has so much amazing things to tell you. So this is 10-Minute Labs brought to you by LCA Elements. Thank you for watching. Put in some comments. We'll go ahead and try to work as many of you guys into the 10-minute broadcast here. We're going to go deep in 10 minutes with Misti, who runs an amazing brokerage in Texas called Avo Realty. It is not only a brokerage, it's a team. Misti herself is a producing agent. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, right? Let's just dive in, Misti, because you've gone through so many changes in your career. All right, so let's just set this timer. Here we go. Ready? So Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes. Oh, they changed my little iOS.
You have the new upgrade. I don't have the upgrade yet. Todd's been showing me all his new cool features. I'm like,
oh, it's super cool. All right, but our clock is going, so let's jump in. Ready? So Misti, what keeps you awake at night?
You know, what keeps me awake at night, actually, I'm a really good sleeper, number one. So I don't really have a lot that keeps me awake at night. But if there is one thing that I'm really focused on more than anything, I think due to COVID, vision for the future, trying to figure out what the future looks like. And so I have really, talking about change and growth, spent a lot of time in that space lately. And, you know, it's what I think about when I go to sleep at night. It's what I'm thinking about when I wake up in the morning. There's so much opportunity. There's so many different ways and places to go and grow. We've had all this quiet time, but the vision of what is life after COVID? Like, what does it really look like for me, for our team, for our industry? And I have a really big question mark in a lot of areas. So that's really probably the one thing.
I love it. And I think a lot of people watching this can probably relate to that, right? What does life look like after COVID? So for today, for the in COVID phase, right? What do you obsess over in the world of real estate? Like what do you focus on?
I am obsessed with going deep with our team right now and with people. So our clients, COVID gave us and I hate to keep going back to that, but it really has slowed time down for most of us. And so I've been able, as a broker and a team leader, to really just slow down and go deeper on conversion, what it means to really connect with people at a deeper level. You know, tracking our numbers, all those things that were fast and furious previous to the pandemic. Now it just feels like time has slowed down a little bit. And I am obsessed with taking time to spend with my team and really help them track their numbers and figure out, you know, where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, and helping to develop them into better humans and into better agents.
Well, I know you're big in developing humans, right? So let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. Once they identify their strengths and weaknesses, do you help them focus on their strengths? Do you help them build up their weaknesses? Where do you start?
A lot of it is through leverage. So, you know, when we're working with a team, I look at everybody on our team as a CEO of their own company. We're not a traditional team. I feel like I'm building CEOs across the state of Texas currently. So once we identify what their strength and weakness is, it's how can we put a system in to help where you're weak, or how can we bring in another person or another team member? For a listing agent, it might be bringing in a listing coordinator. For a buyer's agent that's leveling up and wanting to, you know, having so many showings, it's actually bringing on somebody, a showing agent or something, so that they can expand and do more business. So that's kind of where we're at with it right now.
Are the agents you're working with ever surprised when you go through the process to kind of figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are? Do they ever think they're one way and you're like, well, and does that ever happen? Or do pretty much people know what their positives are?
I think everybody's surprised. I know I was, as I went through that process with my coaches previously and just, you know, throughout life, and having people identify it. We went through an exercise probably a couple months ago with our team where we sent out like a mini survey on strengths and weaknesses, and we had other members on our team kind of rate us. And so I think there was a lot of insight in that. I did it for each of the agents. They did it for me. We did it. They did it for each other. And so when you see it from somebody else's perspective, I think you always go, wow, really? I didn't really know that. We kind of see ourselves different. So that was really insightful. I think that was kind of a surprise to all of us.
I love that. And if people are watching this who are not on a team, I mean, if you're watching this and you're on a team, you could absolutely recreate that. But if they're not on a team, is there a way you could do that? Could you have like your friends, family, people? Like, how could you adapt that?
I would send it to, honestly, after I got it back, because it's scary. When we did this, it was scary, but it was meant to be scary because that's good. That's growth. That's a place we need to go to kind of identify ourselves. And so, yeah, now that I've been through it, I would send it to friends. I would send it to trusted people. I mean, don't go send it to, somebody that you don't feel comfortable with. But yeah, if you're a solo agent out there, I would definitely do that exercise. Find a mentor, somebody in the industry, even somebody outside of the industry, but friends, family, why not? You can only grow from it.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Interesting. All right. So let's change gears for a minute. Because you have so much interesting stuff. All right. So when you look at these experienced agents, what's the biggest mistake experienced agents are making given what's going on in the world right now?
I think the biggest mistake, we all have this false sense of security right now. Real estate's good. It's pretty good across the nation. At least I don't know any areas that aren't doing really well right now. And I feel like we're really, I went back and cut out a lot of expenses, and that was the very first thing that I did. A lot of the people that I associate with, I don't think they did that. They have this false sense of security that everything is great and it's going to be great for a while. And it probably will be. I'm not saying it's going to shift or anything like that. But
are you giving us breaking news? Is something bad about that? Okay, just checking. It's just like an election day special.
No. But I feel like we have this false sense of security. Real estate it's easy right now. It comes easy. And I think this is a time when I said earlier, what's on the other side of COVID. I think this is a time where we really need to just kind of go back to some of the basics and rebuild things that we're really good at, and maybe cut expenses, all those technology things that you're paying for that you don't need. I think it's time to get rid of them and really clean house. And I don't see a lot of people, at least peers, that have really done that.
Yeah. Interesting. What is the best way to do that? How do you go about knowing? Like, do you look at just straight out what you're not using? Do you look at a return on investment? Like, what do you do?
I look at my bank account so I put them out. I put everything. I look at my P&L. But what I did was I just went line by line on everything, and I make a point to do that every single month. And there's something so refreshing about knowing that what comes out of my bank account is actually being utilized versus previously. I mean, I just had subscription after subscription and money flying out everywhere. And I thought, boy, that's what used to keep me awake at night. But now I feel like it's just refreshing. So I just go through it line by line.
Yeah, I love it. I just put it up on the screen. Go line by line.
Line by line. Know your numbers. Know where your money's going. I mean, at the end of the day.
And I know, I mean, we only have a couple minutes left. Obviously, we can't cover your whole career, but have you learned lessons the hard way? Like, what have you had to go through to learn that?
Yeah, I've gone through some really, really hard lessons. I would say the last 3 years were pretty brutal. I grew a very, very large team, and I attracted maybe not quite the right group of people. There was a lot of lost money, a lot of just heartache and soul searching through that. So, yeah, I don't regret any of those hard lessons, but I'll tell you what, because I think that builds character. And that's why, people are interested in what I have to say, because there's some character there. But at the end of the day, it's those lessons are beneficial, and I don't regret any of them. But boy, they were some hard ones.
Yeah, there's a book called Grit. Do you know the book Grit, Angela Duckworth?
I do know Grit. Yeah.
So I for some reason I associate that book with you. I just feel like knowing like your story and what you've gone through, and like you're just that person who has grit, like perseverance. Like that's just you. I love it. All right, so we got 1 minute left. What advice would you give to a brand new agent starting in this COVID career?
Yeah, I would say to a new agent, I would look at joining a team, a good team that is interested in helping you build your career. There's so many different ways to build a real estate business. And I think right now, more than ever, surround yourself with people that have that are successful and that are building in the way that you want to build. And don't let ego get in the way. Like, join a team, join a group of people that are doing it the right way.
I love it. And 30 seconds, last thought on if you had to sum up like your life into like a motto these days, like you go through themes in your life, you got a motto, you got a mantra, you got something that repeats in your head a lot these days?
I think it's just find your passion, find what you love, be okay with the journey, learn to be authentic. Like, that's the goal of all of us, is really just to become authentic and embrace it. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. And that's the beautiful part of life and real estate. Treat people like humans.
I love it. I don't know if you can hear that. That's our time. But look, I knew you'd come up with something brilliant, Misti, right there. I've never heard anyone say that. Learn to be authentic. Everyone says be authentic. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say learn to be like, right? Because that's something that like you can learn to be authentic. That's right. It's something that might not come naturally or feel comfortable to most people. But Misti, thank you. You are one of the most authentic human beings I know. Truly, this is so much fun. Send us messages, guys. Give us some comments. Let us know anything we can help you with. I'm going to click stop here. If you want to hang for a minute, Misti, we can chat. But everybody else, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.